My name is Jeff Willard. Most of my friends and colleagues have always known me by the name Daly. It's basically my middle name with a Y. I am a producer, actor, and writer in the visual arts industry. I grew up in a very small town with not a lot to do. My parents passed away at a very young age, and after that I went to live with my grandparents, who taught me all the very important values of life, and I really appreciated that. I always found it hard to find things to do, so I would often make up characters and just pretend to be those characters to spice things up a bit in my life. I later went to live with my brother, and that's when things changed a bit. I actually bought my first video camera, and I can remember thinking to myself, wow, this is so awesome, you know, to be able to come up with all these amazing things. The characters that I had invented as a child I was actually able to bring to life. And you know, at first I was curious just about how the camera worked, and then, you know, I actually started bringing all of these ideas out on the picture. My other passion was music, so I started producing my own music videos in my backyard as a kid, and of course it was other people's songs, and I started writing my own music then, and that's when I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and to pursue my music career as a singer-songwriter. Moving to Nashville at 18 years old, it was very difficult. I lived in my car for 3 months, the first 3 months. Me and my good friend Cliff Lawson, who was a singer-songwriter as well, excellent guitar player, and we were able to get involved in several different things. I actually went on to teach vocal lessons, and that's where I met my wife, was in Nashville. And I decided I didn't want to raise a family in the city, so I ended up moving back to my little small town in Mocksville, North Carolina, with population hardly anybody. Had some interesting things, you know. I was watching MTV one day, and I was more interested in the music video than I was the music itself. I felt guilty about it, but the mechanics of how the story was put together was very exciting to me. Like, I was super excited to find this out and to understand how all this worked. And that's when I realized music was something I really liked to do, but videography and digital cinematography was my passion. And that's when I started to pursue that. After my kids were born, I got my first camera, my first real camera, and I started shooting little videos around town for people and stuff like that. And I saw a reality TV show called Welcome to Myrtle Manor down in Myrtle Beach, and I told my wife, I was like, I want to work with that show. And she's like, so we're moving to Myrtle Beach? And I was like, is that okay? So we packed up and moved to Myrtle Beach, and within 3 months I had rubbed shoulders with everybody on the cast and crew, and was involved in the photography side of that show. I consider all the cast of that show my friends, and it wasn't one of those situations where I used them just to further my career. At first it started off that way until I realized how great these people were. They were amazing people, and I really loved to be around them. I was happy to call them my friends. Through that, I met several crew members on that show for TLC who actually got me involved, actually got me connected with CNBC, The Prophet. I actually got to work on The Prophet, and that was absolutely amazing. That was a learning experience for sure, and I had a wonderful time working on The Prophet. And then following up The Prophet, I got to go work with a show on Food Network called Top 5. And I got to run sound, so I bumped up from my PA status to sound, and it just inspired me to want to take the next step. And that's when I enrolled in Full Sail University. I enrolled in Full Sail because I learned a lot in the field, but I feel like there's a bunch of missing parts. The technical side of things, I really wanted to learn all the aspects of the film industry, and Full Sail offered me the opportunity to be able to come in and learn things. I've learned so much so far, and I'm you know, so happy that I was able to join an amazing team at this school, Full Sail University. I've always had this saying, you know, you never stop learning. I got that from my grandpa. You know, you never stop learning. You can wake up tomorrow and you can think you're the best at something, and you'll still learn something new. I mean, I feel that every day I learn something, and I'm just thankful for that. And it's helped me every day to constantly pursue the passion that I love so much. Full Sail has helped me to continue to grow with my skills and techniques in the filmmaking industry, and I think it's going to continue to help me to grow as a filmmaker, and I think it's going to show me a lot of different aspects of this industry that I had no idea exists. My career goal in the next 10 years would be that I would really, really love to have a lot of shows that I'm passionate about under my belt, and a lot of my own projects that are out there changing the world, because I want people to recognize me as not only a producer and a filmmaker, but I want them to recognize me as someone who wants to help the industry. I want to help the industry grow and come up with new and exciting ideas for us to continue to move forward in this amazing industry that we love. This goal is really important to me because I really love working with people, and reality TV means a lot to me. And I've worked in a lot of reality TV so far, and I've noticed that a lot of the reality TV has kind of turned into something that's not so much reality, and it's basically just become this big fake scripted thing with people who aren't actors to start with. So I feel like some of it's been done in being done in good taste, and some of it's not. And I would really like to bring reality back to that, so that people can relate to these characters and actually get meaning out of what they're watching. It should be real life, and I think there's a way to accomplish that without being in a rush on your project. And it all comes back to every project is your passion project. So it should matter from start to finish, whether or not if you've scripted a bad line, or if you've set up a scenario that didn't work, or if the whole storyline just doesn't make sense. I would rather scrap and start over with my storyline and make it the best I possibly could than continue to put out stuff that people can see right through as being completely and totally fake. So that's one of my biggest goals, is to bring reality back to reality TV. I really think there's a lot of skills that I lack in at this point that I think Full Sail is going to really be able to help me with. One of those is lighting. I have my lights set up here, but I work with them sometimes for hours. I try to pay as much attention to detail as possible, but I'd really like to learn more about how to set up lighting. Camera angles is very important to me. I've been studying Steven Spielberg because he is amazing at his camera angles and his techniques. But I think the school will be able to show some techniques that are pretty much the standard of what it should be to get the right camera angles, to make sure I'm getting the right frame. And then also the audio. Audio is very important to me. I've mixed music before, so I kind of think that might be a strong point for me. But when you're mixing audio for speech, it's a little different, and I really think Full Sail is going to help me to achieve better results out of these skills that I'm lacking somewhat in. I have had an amazing opportunity to work with networks on several reality shows, and I've worked the PA position, the producer's assistant, on several projects in the past, and I would say that my goal would be the next step I'd want to do. I actually got to run sound already too, which is awesome, and I really loved running sound, so I'd really like to be able to move up into more camera operator, sound, or even a writer. I'd like to be able to work one-on-one with the talent and really be able to show my ideas and let my ideas shine through. Networking has always been something that's kind of come easy for me. Not to say that it always succeeds, but I've always kind of been a techie nerd. So, you know, I use the same techniques that a lot of people use. I start off with Facebook. That's the way I get my word out, is through Facebook, social media, Twitter, Instagram, and of course I build myself a website. And then the backlinking from the site. And then I do a lot of word of mouth. I mean, I hate to say I'm kind of old school, but I'm kind of old school in a new school world. But I do a lot of word of mouth. I talk to a lot of people, and it helps me a lot. I keep contact with all the people I've worked with in the past, and now that's always been a strength for me, is to keep contact with these people who I love very dearly. They're really good friends, and they've always given me the opportunity to get my foot in the door when the opportunity arises, and that's always a good thing to do, is stay in contact with people that are in the same field you're in. I think I'll be unique in this industry simply because I really do care. I care a lot. I care a lot about the people. I care a lot about the viewers, and that's why it's something that's on my heart about reality TV, and that's why it strikes me so solid, is because I know that this is stuff that is supposed to relate to the audience, unlike a movie that's being shot that is fantasy made up. Reality TV has come along and it's something that people can relate to in their lives and problems and struggles that they may be going through, and having an opportunity to make that better. And what I mean by better is take the fake out of reality TV. I mean, yes, you need scenarios and there's things you need to set up, but they're starting to get more and more scripted, and I feel like they're falling down an endless tunnel of fakeness, and I can see it come through when I'm watching TV now. Versus when reality TV first came out, and I don't want to be that lazy producer that's like, that's good enough. I want to push hard, and if this scenario doesn't work and this storyline doesn't work and it's not falling in line with the characters, then I want to sit down and rewrite it and make it right, to make it fit with the realness behind the show itself. I think my impact on the industry and the changes I would make would be, I would want to make it more about the viewer. I want to write my shows, and I want to produce my shows based on what I want people to see, based on their perception, because that's who really matters, the people watching the show. That's what really counts. And I learn more and more every day in this industry, and I'm going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to work my ass off on changing things that I think need to be changed. And as I progress, I feel like I'll just get better and better and better. And I just, I want the influence. I don't want to be the person that says I know it all, because I don't. We never stop learning. It's something that we will continue to do the rest of our lives. You can be the best guitar player in the world, but you're not the best guitar player in the world, because there's other things you can continue to learn. You might be the best in people's eyes, but that doesn't mean that there's not more to be done. It's a journey to take, and I hope that this journey that I'm about to take will impact the industry and help this industry that I love so dear. And I hope that my words that I speak and my works that I do help impact this industry in a positive light. And I look forward to every project I have in the future. And I look forward to taking this journey with my friends and colleagues and my viewers. This journey has just begun. I still have a long road to go. But I'm going to strive every day to hit that mark, which is my goal. Thank you.